Oh, it's you. Come on in. I thought it was high time to do a grand tour of my sewing studio, and I'll go over the equipment I use, sewing machines, maybe some recommendations, and maybe some trade secrets. So let's get right into it. This is the closet door that I famously come out of, and it is my personal closet, and it's very junky. I mean, if you can, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a horror show. This fixture is actually from my first studio that I had in Portland. It was a shop called Back Talk, and so when they closed down, I took this fixture with me. And these garments are mostly projects I've completed, and they just kind of live here. And let's see, a laundry cart filled with fabric. There's not really a story there. I found it on the side of the road. My favorite place to shop. This is my big work table that very fortunately got as a freebie when I had a studio in this building under the Morrison Bridge, and I was very lucky that there were two other makers there with me at the time, and they helped me take it back to the studio because it weighs a billion tons. It's nice to be able to roll out tons of fabric on it. It's so large. Then I've got some self-healing mats here. Self-healing, so sweet, it's touching. I don't understand the magic of them, but they're great, especially with a rotary cutter. This seems like a good time to mention Wawak. It's where I get most of my notions and supplies. They're not sponsoring this, but sponsor me, Wawak. I love you. And so here's the catalog, but they obviously have a website as well. And so if you need like notions, zippers, if you need equipment like scissors, anything, they got it. Under the work table for storage here, I've got some bins for fabric, various projects, kind of organized by either project type or color. And I like to do a clear bin or one that's like kind of metal grid open so I can see what's in it, because if I don't see it, it doesn't exist. I forget about it. I buy it again, or later on I'm just filled with regrets because I was like, oh, I would have used that thing, but I forgot it was there. So a fine line between clutter and extreme organization. And under this, we've got the sort of leather shoe rework kit with leather paint in various colors. And let's see what else. Glue. It's like special Barges cement. Also, not a sponsor. I love Barges though. It's great. And utility knife, and this thing that makes extra like holes in belts, which is kind of cool. And and then if I ever want to make shoes, I've got this like, I don't even know what you call that, a cast, some sort of shoe, the shoe mold, yeah, and then some various like dyes and stuff, and then lots of dust. I like to keep lots of dust on things. It's healthy. Avon, you need to censor this. These are important. These are trade secrets. I'm not willing to give up. No, they're just like to-do lists. But this is my wall where I keep. Okay, here's my dream. I love Pinterest, but I want to get back to like the physical inspo boards. You know what I mean? With like cutting these out of magazines and books, but I don't. So many. I know, but I can't be bothered for some reason. Or so I'm supposed to ruin this book to like be inspired for 3 months? Yeah, these are mostly just little notes. But again, if I don't see it, I'm very analog. If I don't see it, I forget. I can't do a phone calendar. Sorry. On this humble IKEA table, we've got, this is sort of my serger sort of station. And so we've got a Juki serger that is my preferred machine at the moment. And so these are like the home machines. And I've used a Brother in the past. Someone was mentioning what sergers I use. And let's see, I think it's like a Brother, I want to say it's like a 1034D. Don't quote me on that. But and that one worked fine. It lasted about 9 years. Great starter, but just really for a little bit more, this Juki is fantastic. It just has a little bit better glide to it. It's a little faster and smoother. And I don't know much about the oiling of things. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of, it's my dirty little secret. But this is I'm guessing that's Is that a 0 or an O? I hate.
I would think O.
Okay,
But
let's just say O, and then that kind of covers both bases. 644D. And then here's the Juki cover stitch machine. Let's see. And like then I dip into like some light dyslexia because I'm like, wait, MCS 1500. And a cover stitch machine is like a great way to hem knits, because I don't know if you've ever tried to hem knits on, I guess a Juki industrial machine does okay, but let's just say you have a home machine, a Singer or Brother, and you're trying to just hem a knit t-shirt, and it can get real wavy, but not in a cute lettuce edge. Almost said lettuce wrap. Not in a cute lettuce edge way of being wavy, like in a, oh boy. So if you're working with a lot of knits and a lot of t-shirts and you want to crop them and rehem them, a cover stitch machine is great. It's not a requirement. Like, I'd say a serger is pretty necessary. Like, I would highly recommend getting a serger. But a cover stitch machine is just like, oh yeah, I work with tons of knits, so it can be worth it in its own way. But there are workarounds, so it's probably twice as much as the serger. So, it's a little pricey. Again, dust. When you work with fibers and fabrics, it's in the air. I probably have, yeah, exactly. Instead of like coal miners like lung, I've got like lint lung. This is a Bernina computerized machine, B350. It says patchwork edition, and I don't really even know what that's supposed to mean. And technically, there's another little card somewhere. Oh, here, well, I don't know if it matters. Anyways, there's a card that has 85 different stitches. So I got this early on. It still works pretty well. Sometimes it's a little clunky, not as smooth as an industrial machine, but still great. It's all these different like feet for it. And there is a foot, and I think this is it, called a walking foot. So speaking of doing hems with knits, a walking foot is a great little tool to have if you want to not have a cover stitch machine, but you want to hem knits, and it kind of, I think it works against the feed dogs. Anyway, getting into the nitty gritty here. So this one's great because you can do a zigzag, you can do a buttonhole, which is kind of the main reason I have it, and a blind stitch too. And I think you can do like a double needle situation with this. I've never tried it. Yeah, so I would recommend the Bernina. It is a little pricey, but I'm sure there are more simplified versions, as I don't necessarily need to embroider like Greek keys and like flowers and tulips. It's lovely, but yeah. And here is a little gooseneck adjustable phone holder for when I'm taking videos of sewing close up. And here is the big boy, the Juki industrial machine, and it's a DDL8700. I was hesitant to get an industrial machine for a while just because I never thought I had the room. And now that, I don't know if I even mentioned, this sewing studio is the second bedroom in my apartment. I've had various other studios, but I kind of like being at home because I'm a full hermit. I was always worried that it was going to weigh a billion tons and it was going to take up a lot of room in any of the small studio spaces I've had. And it would have. And I finally just broke down. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. And an acquaintance had one for sale, and so I snatched it up. So glad I did. It sews so smoothly. It can do hems. It's just, I know it's only a single needle straight stitch machine, but I mean, that is like 90% of sewing. And so it is fabulous. Highly recommended. It can be a little pricey. This one wasn't as bad as I thought, because I think some of them that are the more, what are they, like kind of an overlock machine? The one that has like 7 spools on it. I think those can be like 1,600. Yeah. So this one was not that. So we could get into shipping supplies a little bit. I have found some good luck with this company. Again, I feel like feels like a full sponsored video. Anyway, I love them. Better packaging. So they have some envelopes that are compostable, and I think they're made from sugar cane, and so they smell like brown sugar. And everything in here is made of cookies. Like the ironing board I'm in is made of cookies. You're like the witch who lives in the forest. I know. Like you can just have a little, I just snack on the walls. Everything's made of food here. There's also a company or a storefront in town called Scrap. I think they might even be in other cities. I'm not sure. And they sell, like, people will donate shipping supplies, craft supplies, fabric. I get a lot of stuff from there too. And I love to go through their 90s, 80s, 90s photos. It's just like a big tub and get these weird little into the roll type photos. Some of them are creepy. No, and I don't know, I like to send them off instead of like a branded postcard. I just think it's kind of fun to I love the ones that are like of banquets. There's a lot of people love to take photos of banquets and rummage sales. Anyway, so I'll send those off with orders. This, first of all, I think this is like a salad bowl or something that I'm in love with. This Tupperware thing, thrifted at some point. Anyways, and I keep my what's it called? Like branded, like the labels, just labels, I guess, whatever. And so I think this is from a company called Cruz, C-R-U-Z, Cruz label. And these are the previous ones. I went for a vintage look. And then this, I wanted just like a little more like, just kind of pop. And they also have size labels. And so, yeah, I think that's like, again, is it one of those things that's necessary? It depends on how you're feeling about it. But I don't know, I kind of like being able to sew my little signature into each garment. We got tubs of vintage buttons, serger thread, we got trims. Again, I have to be able to see it. I have to be able to see what's in there. I have covered this in a previous video. My ironing board is crap. It slops and flops. It's like a Twix bar. There's just like a cookie. It's the ironing board with a cookie crunch because it is like truly made of like, I don't even know, cardboard. I don't know what's going on. I need to get a new one. And I've also gone over irons, but I'll quickly go over that. I believe I went over my iron reviews in the puff embroidery video. So you can check that out if you want the full story. But in a nutshell, on Wawak, is that proper? Who cares? I reviewed my 2 studio irons, I think in the puff embroidery video. So you can check that out for the full story. But in a nutshell, I've got an Oliso iron that it kind of like pops up the feet. So it kind of is like its own stand. So that's kind of cool. I really haven't used that one this much. I kind of got it as a backup. And I've got this one from Wawak that I think it's called Hot Steam SGB 900. And it's great, lots of steam. There's a tank of water there that you fill up. So that's nice to not have to worry about that for pretty much weeks at a time. But here's the thing, it likes to slide off the, even a nice ironing board, it will fall off, not just this one. And so it tends to fall and crack, and they sell separate pieces, but you know, I'm just living with shards. I'm living on the edge at all times with this one with the wires exposed and everything. So a caveat on that one, but great steam. So, you know, what are you gonna do? These are my puffy dresses and crinoline skirts. And this is where I store my very professional looking patterns. And so obviously there's proper pattern paper with grids. And I'm like, no, 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 I want craft paper that's gonna curl up and rip. So, but no, I just wanna show you that like, you know, just go for it. Get some craft paper. And I think actually some of this paper, I got it scrap, and I think it was like for a giant industrial printer, and it's like kind of thick, but it's also kind of weirdly shiny. And anyways, I just like kind of have some templates I've made over the years. This is probably the area I would like, this is one of those like save in a fire kind of things, because I'm like, I don't know. It's just years of work. Are they called like slopers?
Yeah.
That is a weird word that I kind of hate and love. Sloper.
Like the ones that don't have seam allowance or slopers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that you can like build other patterns off of.
Okay. Good to know. Sorry, that's a word that just popped in my. I just had a flashback from school. I'm like slopers. I'm like, I can't remember what that means, but it's something to do with this. Ostensibly, they're sorted by like, this is this certain jacket or whatever, and I'm like, well, anyways, it's a mess. But I just want to just be vulnerable and show you that, you know, like you don't have to, you know, don't strive for perfection. Just like get it done. It's totally fine. And then just, I don't know, I always like, I need to have a whole system of you know, drawers and pulleys and whatever to have fabric in. Again, just clear tubs sorted by either color or fabric type. And then lots of IKEA bags that a lot of them are off screen because this would all be IKEA bags filled with fabric if we weren't needing a little room to move about. And I guess last, wait, what's the proper word? It's like dress form, but it's like it's got legs, so it's like pant form, jumpsuit form. I know, and I don't want to say dummy because that seems cruel and reductive. These, I got this one for not too much money, but it was like 10 years ago. And I was like, let me get a second one that's like a size that's not my own size. It would make way more sense. And they have gone up in price. Let me tell you, I wish I would have bought stock in dress forms. I think that's one for the books. Go on, you good thing. Everything beforehand, I'm like a genius, and I'm like zip zap zop, and then I get here and I'm like a Muppet. I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is impossible to edit because you keep stop and start. Okay, I'm just like, I don't know how to like talk. I'm a crone, a hag, a goblin, a hobgoblin. Or is it called like a safety stitch? I have no idea. Anyways, those machines. I'm giving you a tour. Here's a tutorial about sewing. I know jack shit. Sorry, I need like water, and I hate everything I'm saying. It was worth it because it's smooth. It smooths so. I'm like out of breath. I'm like from the dust. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for saying I'm sorry so much. It's like too nitty gritty. It's too broad. It's everything. Okay, let me start. I'm sorry. This is hell. Okay.